Chairperson and our moderator, my fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak on the Tanzania experience on poor development strategies. The government of Tanzania has embarked on several initiatives to develop the national economy to provide Tanzanian citizens with the opportunity to comfortably afford the basic needs and lead quality life. The initiatives have had a substantial positive impact on the microeconomies. The aims of all these steps we have taken, aiming at strengthening the policy environment for financial sector, creating an environment for facilitating the availability of micro-credit services, reforming the land registration system for enabling land to be used as collateral against credit or mortgage, putting in place arrangements for development of medium and long-term finances. Initiatives it is in its efforts to ensure that the majority of Tanzanians command more power in business, investment, high technical skills and entrepreneurship. The government has taken a number of initiatives as described below by enacting different acts of parliament. One, Empowerment Policy Act of 2004. The policy aims requires that each sector involved charts out its empowerment strategies and monitors supervises closely implementations. Two, National Empowerment Act. The Act also provided for the establishment of National Economic Empowerment Fund aimed at availing the necessary resources to empower Tanzanians. The Rural Development Strategy. 7, National Strategy for Growth and Reduction of Poverty. Initiatives, cooperative schemes, and small and medium enterpreneurs. The three pillars of the strategy include growth and reduction of income poverty, improvement of quality of life and social well-being, governance and accountability. And also we have the Poverty and Business Mobilization Program. In this program, the assets of the people are recognized and that people can obtain title deeds which can be used as collateral for borrowing from banks. Now, out of this, we have had the following achievements. Generally speaking, empowerment of the people is an integral part of ensuring a better life for every Tanzanian. In this regard, the attainment of the National Economic Empowerment Policy has been contributed through the following achievements. One, establishment of SACCOs. The government has prepared the procedures for establishing SACCOs of different community-based groups which are facilitated to access credit from commercial banks and financial institutions located in the regions across the country. National microfinance, and so many people have figures, people here who have benefited from that. Wananchi Empowerment Fund and employment creation. This is also another program. Small Entrepreneurs Loan Facility. The scheme has endorsed loans of 5 billion for entrepreneurs, in which 4.7 out of 4.17 billion has been collected. Loan schemes. In our country, despite our supporting other schemes and governments, local government authorities and the Community Development Department provide funds for both youth and the women economic groups. And the calculation is in all 10% of the amount of money collected by council through their own resources. They have to set 10% to give loans to women and the youth. We have the Tanzania Social Action Fund. This is a system whereby the villagers identify a project, they participate in themselves, and the government supports them by giving them building materials and so on and so on. The achievement of national strategy for growth and reduction of poverty. Objectives notably: 1, reducing lack of voice and income poverty through community participation in the entire project, sector and cash transfer in self-reliance. 2, promoting self-confidence and self-reliance. 3, empowering men and women, both as individuals as well as communities, to enable them to have the technical and financial capacities to implement the decisions. And 4, facilitating communities' ownership of development process and the outcome project, thus ensuring sustainability of projects. In conclusion, the government of Tanzania is determined to accelerate implementation of its policy of economic empowerment to the people. The government believes that empowerment of people is an integral part of the national strategies for ensuring a better life for every Tanzanian. In this regard, the government will continue to take into consideration the need to increase resources to the growth sectors as a basis for accelerating wealth creation and reduction in income poverty of a majority of people of Tanzania who live in. When you are in Cardiff, you are invited to visit our pavilion at bus number 1 here. And please, when you go back home or straight from here, come and visit Tanzania to see the beautiful islands of Zanzibar, to see the Ngorongoro crater, and to climb or see the highest mountain in Africa, the Mount Kilimanjaro, which is snow-capped. Mr. Chairman, I tried my level best as an ex-soldier to be disciplined to try to do your time.
Okay, I think it's a tribute to the Commonwealth that as the referee, as the English referee here, I think I have a vote at the front. Could I ask you to ask questions rather than give statements? But I believe Trinidad in particular has a question it would like to ask. So could we start with if Trinidad is particularly interested in asking its question? And each question we will direct to somebody up front. And when you're speaking, could you just identify who you are and where you're from? Okay. I think I saw a hand right at the back.
I'm going to direct my question to Steve Hammond, who covered the specific question around local enterprise partnerships. One of the big moves the UK government seems to be making at the moment is towards a paying for results approach to public services. And there's a lot of innovative instruments you've been piloting to look at that. I'm curious to know, since we're talking about can play into that, through, for example, giving local authorities more incentive to promote welfare work programs, working with enterprise partners. But that means that the funds would flow to the enterprise partners rather than local government. Or how, just wondering how the thinking around payment for results could work around social services tied into the LEPs.
I think that's directed to me. Thank you for the question. I mean, I think one of the big changes I tried to make in my presentation is that the government believes that we live in an era of targets and the previous 5 years, and actually, what we should be concentrating on is not input targets, but outcomes and outputs. And therefore, that, first of all, moves by incentive of national policy in certain areas, is that there are completely differing needs